Hi everyone, and back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how I got these quick, easy, and pretty fast stitch braids. So first I'm starting off with one pack of kaneklon silky jumbo braiding hair, and I'm just starting off by sectioning them out piece by piece. I just get a small piece and it just progressively gets bigger. Normally there's about 12 pieces per pack, and I would say the first 3 are small, then the next 8 are around the same size, and then the last 3 might be a little bit bigger. And normally what I do is once I get to the last few sections is where I will pull the ends so that way it can be tapered and you don't have to worry about having like the blunt ends. And I'll just separate it into 3 pieces. Doing this will allow the taper to be a lot better, at least for me, and then also saves on time as well. And then now what I'm doing is just sectioning off the first braid. Because the nape is significantly more narrow than the hairline, just make sure that you have the braid get more narrow once you get towards their neck. And all I'm doing is just adding some edge control. I'm using the Vonte Silk Effects, but you can use any edge control of your liking. And you just use a generous amount on both sides as well, the edges. And you just go through and smooth with your comb and follow it with your fingers, and that helps to smooth it down. This will also help with braiding as well, so you don't have to be fighting against like naps and whatnot. And then to swoop the edges, you just do the same thing. You just go with your comb and then you follow with your finger. It's pretty easy actually, especially once you get the hang of it. And as you can see, she just has her hair blow dried. So the edge control really is enough to get you that sleek look without having to use like a lot of heat. So now what I do is just make a clean part and then just section that into 3 legs. And then I'll do a few stitches first before I add in any of her hair. And then I'll grab a piece and I'll section it off with my finger, and that's how you get that clean stitched look. And I'll do that once or twice before I actually add in any braid hair. So I'll show you in a more slowed down and detailed look later, but essentially what I do is I'll hook it between my index and my thumb, and then I will slide it through the other finger or the other hand that's holding on to the rest of the hair. And I have a more like explained slow down video as well that I'll link below in case this is a little confusing. Now, as you can see, when you add it in, you'll have some braiding hair in the left outer leg and then in the middle leg. And that's what gives you that invisible look.
That's good.
And with more practice, it becomes much easier. And another tip to keep the braids the same length, or around the same length, it's important to add in the last few pieces at the same time. So you'll want to use their ear as like a reference point. So on each braid, you'll just add it in around her ear, and then that'll make the braids come out to be around the same length. And these are also the pieces that I had tapered out in the beginning. So after you've added the last piece, all you have to do is just continue braiding all the way down. And one thing I like to do, I didn't show it, but I'll try to loosen the kitchens a little bit because that tends to be the tightest part. And then to do the mini braid, I just go in and I do a really fine section, and it's going to be really probably the size of a bobby pin. And I don't even add in extra braiding hair for this because it ends up becoming too thick, and you can't really see the contrast between the big and the small braids. Some people will do the mini braids first, and then you'll have like pretty defined sections, but that will take a lot of practice, and I never tried it. It just seemed like too much work, honestly. But that's something you guys want to do. Definitely try it out and let me know how it goes. When doing this mini braid, I don't braid it all the way to the bottom of her nape. I'll just probably stop probably just around her ear, a little bit below her ear, and just braid it off maybe about 2 or 3 inches. And the next braid we'll just add it through. So I'm just going to show you guys the first 2 braids, but ultimately I'm doing 5. And as you can see, the part just gets more narrow as it gets towards her nape because there's less braid space there. And I didn't show me molding down the part. It's pretty straightforward. I just wanted to focus on the actual method. And as you can see, I just did 3 legs, braided it a few times, and then added in the actual braiding hair right there. Some people will use their pinky to section off that piece of hair, but I personally don't do that. I just like to use my index and my thumb. I feel like I get more control. And as you can see, I just pushed it into the hand that is holding the braiding hair between my index and my thumb, and you'll see that the braiding hair is on the left leg and on the middle, and then you just keep braiding. One thing I would suggest is just playing this video back until you sort of get the method down. And as you can see, I'm adding in the braiding hair at the same place where I did on the first braid. And in the end, you'll see that all the braids come to about the same length. And for this mini braid, I do the same thing, just make it pretty narrow and just braid it down essentially. As you can see, it's super easy. These are probably my favorite styles to do because it takes really an hour, if that. And sorry if you guys hear the freeway in the background. I live right off of the highway. But I just finished doing the other 3 braids, and then what I'll do is go back and put some wrapping mousse around it and then tie it off. Then I'll sit her under the dryer for about 15 minutes or until the water is finished boiling. And that just sort of helps seal in any frizzy she may have and just give it a more polished look. I'll dip her hair in some hot water, and that's pretty much it. Just for some finishing touches, I'll add some braiding spray, and I'll go in with my comb just to smooth in the braids. But otherwise, that's it. Really quick and straightforward. And as you can see, the parts are really crisp. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.